Beloved soul, pause for a moment. Breathe, because this moment is holy ground. You are not weak because you are hurting. You are not broken because you feel tired. You are not forgotten because the healing feels slow. No, you are becoming. There is a quiet power moving through you right now, a divine whisper saying, "Rise gently, I am with you." Today we speak healing not as a wish, but as a promise wrapped in faith. Healing begins not with the noise of the world, but with the courage to become still. Before the medicine, before the movement, before the miracle we are waiting to see, there is a pause, soft, intentional, sacred. In that pause, something remarkable happens. We remember how to listen. We remember how to breathe. We remember that we are more than our pain. Stillness is not surrender. It is strength gathered quietly. It is a moment when the soul steps forward and says, "I am here. I am willing. I am open." In a world that teaches us to rush our recovery and measure our worth by how quickly we return to normal, stillness feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. But healing has never thrived in chaos. Healing requires space. It requires permission. It requires trust. Faith does not always arrive shouting hallelujah. Sometimes it tiptoes in on tired feet, sits beside us and waits. Faith is a decision to believe that something good is happening even when we cannot yet see it. It is the gentle knowing that our lives are held by something larger than diagnosis, fear, or delay. Faith says, "I may not understand this moment, but I trust that it is not the end of my story." When we choose stillness, we stop fighting our bodies and begin partnering with them. We stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start whispering, "What is this moment asking of me?" The body listens when the mind softens. The spirit responds when the heart is quiet. In stillness, the noise of doubt loses its grip, and the truth rises slow, steady, undeniable. Breath becomes our first prayer. Inhale, and we receive life again. Exhale, and we release what no longer serves us: fear, tension, shame, impatience. Each breath is a reminder that we are alive, that we are being sustained, that healing is already underway. We do not breathe alone. We are breathing with the rhythm of creation itself. Faith teaches us to stop demanding instant answers and start embracing divine timing. Healing is not a race. It is a relationship. And like all deep relationships, it grows through trust. Trust that the body knows what it is doing. Trust that rest is productive. Trust that unseen progress is still progress. Trust that even in silence, God is speaking. Stillness invites us to be honest. Honest about our fatigue. Honest about our fear. Honest about the parts of us that feel fragile and unsure. There is no healing in pretending. There is only healing in truth spoken gently. Faith does not require perfection. It requires presence. It asks only that we show up as we are and believe that it is enough. In stillness, we begin to hear the quiet affirmations we have been too busy to notice. You are not failing. You are healing. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not weak. You are brave for resting, brave for trusting, brave for continuing when stopping would be easier. These truths settle into us like warm sunlight, slowly restoring what darkness tried to claim. Healing begins when we stop resisting rest and start honoring it. When we stop seeing stillness as laziness and recognize it as wisdom. When we stop measuring recovery by speed and start measuring it by peace. Faith allows us to rest without guilt. It reminds us that even God rested not because the work was incomplete, but because it was good. Stillness is where the heart remembers its original language, hope. Not loud hope, not forced hope, but quiet hope that survives storms and grows in the dark. This hope does not deny pain, it walks with it. It does not rush healing, it trusts it. It understands that some things mend slowly because they are becoming stronger than before. When we choose stillness, we give healing permission to enter every layer of our being. We create space for grace to move. We allow divine strength to flow where striving once blocked it. We learn that faith is not about controlling outcomes, it is about surrendering fear. And in that surrender, something shifts. the body relaxes, the mind quiets, the spirit exhales. Healing, which has been waiting patiently, steps forward, not all at once, not dramatically, but faithfully. Cell by cell, thought by thought, moment by moment. So be still, beloved. Not because you have given up, but because you have chosen to believe. Believe that this pause is purposeful. Believe that your healing is real. Believe that divine presence is closer than your breath and stronger than your pain. Healing begins here in faith and stillness, in the sacred decision to trust. The body is not your enemy. It has never been at war with you, even on the days it feels like it has betrayed you. Long before pain arrived, long before weakness made its announcement, your body was already practicing miracles in silence. It was mending, balancing, adjusting, learning how to carry you through a complicated world. The body remembers how to heal because healing is written into its design. From the first breath you ever took, your body learned resilience. It learned how to rise after strain, how to recover after exhaustion, how to continue even when the odds were heavy. Every scar is proof not of failure but of survival. Every ache tells a story of endurance. Your body is not fragile by accident, it is strong on purpose. We often forget this when sickness lingers or recovery feels slow. We look at our bodies with disappointment instead of reverence. We speak harshly to ourselves, asking why healing has not arrived sooner, why strength has not returned on command. But the body does not respond well to criticism. It responds to compassion. It responds to patience. It responds to love spoken gently and often. Your body was created with wisdom older than your worry. It knows when to rest and when to rebuild. It knows how to close wounds, how to renew cells, how to restore balance in ways you may never consciously notice. Even now, beneath the surface of discomfort, quiet work is being done. Muscles are remembering their purpose. Cells are finding their rhythm. Systems are recalibrating, steady and faithful. Healing is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is subtle, almost shy. It does not announce itself with fireworks. It arrives like dawn, slowly, softly, undeniable once it is fully here. One day you notice you can breathe a little deeper. Another day you realize the pain no longer owns every thought. Another day you move without fear. These are not small victories, they are sacred confirmations that restoration is underway. The body heals best when it is honored, when you speak kindly to it, when you listen instead of push, when you stop demanding performance and start offering partnership. The body is not a machine built only for productivity. It is a living testimony of divine craftsmanship. It requires nourishment, rest, movement, and grace. And when given these, it responds with remarkable loyalty. Strength does not return all at once. It returns in pieces, small, meaningful, cumulative. First comes endurance, then stability, then confidence. Strength returns when the body feels safe enough to trust again. Safe from pressure, safe from shame, safe from the constant message that it must hurry to be worthy. Your body is not behind schedule. It is on a divine timeline. It is healing at a pace that ensures depth, not just speed. Quick recovery may impress the world, but thorough recovery sustains a life. The body understands this truth even when the mind resists it. There is holiness in recovery. Every moment your body chooses repair over collapse is a quiet act of faith. Every night it restores what the day depleted is a whispered prayer answered. Even in sleep, your body labors on your behalf, proving that healing does not require your constant effort, only your consent. When you honor your body, you align yourself with its purpose. You stop seeing rest as weakness and begin recognizing it as wisdom. You stop measuring strength by how much you can endure and start measuring it by how well you can recover. The body thrives when it is allowed to be human, not heroic. Your body was designed not just to survive pain, but to grow wiser through it. Healing often leaves behind discernment, patience, and a deeper respect for limits. These are not losses, they are gifts. They teach you how to care for yourself more gently, how to listen more attentively, how to live more fully. Even when healing feels incomplete, the body is still working. Even when progress feels invisible, restoration is still happening. Do not underestimate the power of small improvements. Do not dismiss the quiet days. Healing does not announce itself loudly because it does not need permission to exist. Your body is worthy of trust. It has carried you through joy and grief, through beginnings and endings, through moments you thought you would not survive. It has adapted, it has endured, it has remained loyal even when misunderstood. Now it asks only for patience as it continues the work it was designed to do. Speak life to your body. Thank it. Encourage it. Believe in its capacity to recover. Divine strength flows most freely where appreciation lives. And as you honor your body, it will respond, not perfectly, not instantly, but faithfully. Because healing is not foreign to you. Recovery is not unnatural. Strength is not gone. It is returning steadily and surely, just as it always has. The mind is a powerful companion. It can cradle you in peace or keep you awake with questions that never seem to sleep. It can be a sanctuary or a battlefield, depending on what we allow to live there. When healing is needed, the mind often carries wounds that the body cannot name, worries layered upon worries, memories replayed too often, fears dressed up as fact. And yet, it is within this same mind that peace can take root and begin its quiet, transformative work. Peace of mind is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of balance. It is the decision to stop letting every thought have authority over your heart. Healing accelerates when the mind is no longer consumed by panic, when fear loosens its grip, when anxiety is gently asked to step aside. The mind, like the body, needs rest. And when it is given rest, it begins to repair itself in ways both subtle and profound. An anxious mind is always rushing ahead, rehearsing disasters that may never arrive. It keeps the body in a state of constant alert, muscles tense, breath shallow, spirit weary. Healing struggles to thrive in such conditions. But when the mind is calmed, when thoughts are slowed and softened, the body responds with relief. The heart rate steadies. Breathing deepens. The nervous system exhales. Peace does not merely comfort us. It creates the conditions in which healing can flourish. Quieting the mind is an act of courage. It requires us to release the illusion that worry equals control. Worry has never healed a wound or restored a weary soul. It has only borrowed tomorrow's strength and spent it on today's fear. Peace, on the other hand, preserves energy. It gathers strength. It allows the mind to focus not on what could go wrong, but on what is being made right. The mind heals when it is spoken to kindly. Words matter. The thoughts we repeat become the atmosphere we live in. If we constantly tell ourselves that recovery is unlikely, that things will never change, the mind absorbs those messages and sends them throughout the body like unwelcome instructions. But when we choose gentler words, words of reassurance, patience, and hope, the mind begins to shift. It listens, it learns, it adapts. Peace of mind is not passive. It is an intentional practice. It is choosing to breathe deeply when panic tries to shout. It is choosing prayer over rumination, gratitude over complaint, trust over fear. These choices do not erase difficulty, but they soften its impact. They create room for clarity to enter, for wisdom to rise, for resilience to take shape. Clarity arrives when the mind is no longer crowded. In calmness, we begin to see what truly matters and what can be released. We learn which thoughts deserve attention and which are simply echoes of old pain. Peace teaches discernment. It allows us to separate what is real from what is imagined, what is urgent from what is merely loud. When the mind is at peace, emotional healing follows. Old wounds begin to loosen their hold. Regrets are no longer sharpened by self-condemnation. Memories are no longer replayed with the same intensity. Peace does not erase the past. It reframes it. It allows us to look back without being pulled under. It teaches us that we are not required to relive every hurt in order to honor our growth. The mind also heals through acceptance. Not resignation, but honest acknowledgement of what is. Acceptance quiets inner resistance, and resistance is exhausting. When we stop fighting reality, we free up energy for recovery. Peace of mind says, "This is where I am, and I can still move forward from here." It replaces self-judgment with self-compassion, and compassion is a powerful medicine. Rest is one of the mind's greatest healers. Sleep, silence, moments of reflection, these are not luxuries, they are necessities. In rest, the mind organizes itself. It sorts through experiences, releases excess tension, and restores emotional balance. A rested mind is better equipped to handle pain, process emotion, and support the body's healing efforts. Peace of mind also strengthens faith. When the noise quiets, trust grows louder. We begin to sense that we are supported, that we do not have to carry everything alone. Faith thrives in calm spaces. It reassures the mind that uncertainty does not mean abandonment, that delay does not mean denial, that healing is unfolding even when progress feels slow. As peace settles in, hope rises naturally. Not forced hope, not fragile optimism, but steady hope that can coexist with reality. This hope becomes an anchor. It steadies thoughts. It grounds emotions. It reminds the mind that healing is not only possible, it is happening. When the mind is at peace, it becomes an ally in recovery rather than an obstacle. It works with the body instead of against it. It encourages patience instead of pressure. It nurtures resilience instead of fear. And in this partnership between calm mind and healing body, restoration accelerates. So guard your thoughts with tenderness. Invite peace often. Let calm be your companion, clarity your guide, and trust your foundation. For when the mind is healed by peace, the entire being follows steadily, gently, and surely toward wholeness. The spirit is the quiet place where strength is born. Long after the body has grown tired and the mind has asked too many questions, the spirit remains steady and watchful, holding the deeper truth of who you are. It is the part of you that knows how to endure without hardening, how to bend without breaking, how to hope without denying pain. When healing feels heavy, it is the spirit that carries you through the waiting. Spiritual strength does not announce itself with loud declarations. It arrives softly, like a hand on your back when you did not know you needed support. It is the voice that whispers, "You can go on when everything else is silent." This strength is not about never feeling weak. It is about continuing even when weakness visits. It is about trusting that your life has meaning beyond the moment you are in. The spirit understands something the body and mind often forget. Suffering is not the same as defeat. Pain may knock on your door, but it does not get to claim ownership of your soul. The spirit knows how to remain whole even when circumstances feel fractured. It holds your faith when your hands are too tired to lift it themselves. When healing takes time, the spirit becomes a shelter. It reminds you that delay is not abandonment, that unanswered questions are not evidence of neglect. The spirit teaches patience not as passive waiting, but as active trust. Trust that something sacred is unfolding beneath the surface, even when you cannot yet name it. Spiritual strength grows when we allow ourselves to lean into grace. Grace does not require us to have all the answers. It only asks that we remain open, open to hope, open to comfort, open to the possibility that we are being carried even when we feel still. In grace, the spirit learns to rest without fear and to believe without proof. The spirit is nourished by connection, connection to God, to meaning, to love, to purpose. Even in isolation, the spirit seeks communion, a quiet prayer, a whispered thank you, a moment of awe. These small acts are not small at all, they are lifelines. They remind the spirit that it belongs to something greater than pain. Spiritual strength also teaches forgiveness of others, of circumstances, and of self. It loosens the grip of resentment, which drains energy needed for healing. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is freeing the spirit from carrying burdens it was never meant to hold. When the spirit is lighter, healing moves more freely. In the depths of struggle, the spirit often grows wiser. It learns compassion for others who suffer. It develops humility, empathy, and a deeper appreciation for life's ordinary miracles. These lessons are not learned easily, but they are learned deeply. The spirit does not waste pain. It transforms it. Faith lives in the spirit, not as certainty, but as courage. Courage to believe that life is still good even when it hurts. Courage to trust that healing has purpose, even when the process is unclear. Faith is not the absence of doubt, it is the decision to keep going alongside it, and that decision strengthens the spirit day by day. The spirit also remembers joy, not constant joy, not shallow happiness, but joy that survives storms, a quiet smile, a moment of laughter, a sense of peace that arrives unexpectedly. These moments are spiritual medicine. They remind the soul that it is still alive, still responsive, still capable of beauty. When the spirit is strengthened, it becomes an anchor. It steadies the mind when thoughts begin to spiral. It reassures the body when fear tightens its grip. It says, you are more than this moment. You are more than this pain. And in that knowing, endurance becomes possible. Spiritual strength does not remove struggle. It reframes it. It allows you to see your journey not as punishment but as passage, not as failure but as formation. The spirit sees growth where the eyes see loss. It recognizes becoming where the heart feels broken. In time, spiritual strength produces quiet confidence. Not arrogance, not denial, but a settled assurance that whatever comes, you will not face it alone. This confidence does not rush healing, it walks with it. It trusts the process without needing to control it. So tend to your spirit gently. Feed it with prayer, reflection, gratitude, and rest. Speak to it kindly. Listen when it whispers truth. Allow it to guide you through the uncertain places. For when the spirit is strengthened, it sustains the entire journey, holding you steady until healing in its own perfect time rises to meet you. Healing is not a finish line you rush toward with clenched fists and borrowed breath. It is a journey that unfolds in its own rhythm, asking for patience instead of pressure, trust instead of timelines. We often mistake delay for denial, slowness for failure, and waiting for weakness. But healing has never been about speed, it has always been about depth. There is a wisdom in gradual restoration. Quick repairs may cover the surface, but true healing reaches the roots. It listens to what the pain has been trying to say. It tends to the unseen places, the quiet fractures that were forming long before the injury made itself known. Healing that lasts takes time because it is thorough, because it is teaching the body, the mind, and the spirit how to live well again. Progress does not always announce itself with visible change. Sometimes it hides in subtle shifts, a calmer response, a longer breath, a deeper sleep. These moments are not insignificant. They are the language of healing, spoken softly. Just because something is quiet does not mean it is not powerful. Just because it is slow does not mean it is not working. Healing moves in seasons, not seconds. There are days of noticeable improvement and days that feel like setbacks. But even setbacks carry instruction. They teach humility. They teach attentiveness. They remind us that recovery is not linear, and it was never meant to be. Growth curves. It pauses. It circles back, and still, it moves forward. Grace walks with healing, especially in the slow moments. Grace says you are not behind. Grace says this is not wasted time. Grace says what is forming now will sustain you later. When we allow grace to redefine progress, we stop judging ourselves by how fast we recover and start honoring how faithfully we endure. Healing is purposeful. Even when it is gentle, it shapes character. It refines perspective. It teaches discernment, what to hold on to and what to release. It asks us to pay attention to our limits and to respect them. In this way, healing does more than restore what was lost. It transforms how we live moving forward. There is courage in continuing when the results are not immediate. Courage in choosing hope again after disappointment. Courage in trusting a process that does not explain itself. Healing requires a quiet bravery, the kind that shows up every day, even when motivation is low and answers are few. Waiting can feel uncomfortable because it strips away our sense of control. But healing was never meant to be controlled, it was meant to be received. In waiting, we learn surrender, not resignation, but trust. Trust that something meaningful is happening even when we cannot yet measure it. Trust that the work being done now will reveal its fruit in time. The gentle pace of healing allows for reflection. It gives us space to reconsider old habits, old patterns, old beliefs that may have contributed to our weariness. Healing invites us not only to recover but to evolve. It asks us to become wiser stewards of our energy, more compassionate toward ourselves, more attentive to what truly matters. There is no shame in taking time. The earth itself teaches us this lesson. Seeds do not bloom the day they are planted. Roots must grow unseen before anything breaks the surface. Healing follows the same law. What is happening beneath the surface matters more than what is visible above it. When we stop rushing healing, we stop resisting it. We allow the body to work without interference. We allow the mind to adjust without panic. We allow the spirit to strengthen without pressure. In this openness, healing finds room to complete its work. Purpose reveals itself gradually. One day you may look back and realize that the slow days taught you patience, the difficult days taught you empathy, and the waiting days taught you faith. You may find that the person you became during healing is stronger, kinder, and more grounded than the person you were before the pain arrived. Healing does not erase the past, it integrates it. It weaves experience into wisdom. It turns suffering into insight and endurance into quiet confidence. This integration cannot be rushed. It must be allowed to settle fully, deeply, honestly. So do not hurry your recovery. Do not measure your worth by how quickly you bounce back. You are not late. You are not failing. You are healing in the way that is best for you. Let the process unfold. Let grace guide your steps. Let patience be your companion. Because healing is not a delay. It is a design, a sacred process shaping strength that will last. And in time you will see that every slow step carried meaning, and every gentle moment led you exactly where you needed to be.